Right, let's head now to Nelspruit and a case that we have been watching all week, and that is the fired Mpumalanga MEC Mandla Msibi. He is going to spend the weekend behind bars. Judgment for his bail application reserved until Tuesday. The embattled MEC appeared in the Nelspruit Magistrates Court again today. He's been implicated, of course, in the killing of 2 people in August, and it seems to have some sort of political connotations because there are allegations swirling around about ANC members perhaps rounding on each other. So Msibi and 2 co-accused face 2 counts of murder and 1 of attempted murder. Reporter Lindokuhle Xulu has been following that story. He joins us live from Mpumalanga now. So Lindo, we've been trying to get the full picture of what both sides are saying from this bail application. We got some information yesterday from the state. Did you get a fuller picture from the state today?
We did get a fuller picture, Sally, because the state yesterday continued with its evidence and in fact concluded yesterday. But essentially what the state is telling us is that there are 2 witnesses that were part of the group that was attacked, the part of the deceased group. There were 2 people that died, 1 person sustained injuries on his left foot, but there are 2 that have since survived. And we are told by the state that essentially these 2 witnesses that have survived have placed the former MEC of Agriculture on the scene to say that he was one of the people among a group of 15 people that attacked this group that was from the victim's side, as it seems. But essentially he was placed there to be one of the people that was wielding a firearm and was shooting at the victims. But Sally, today was quite important. It was the closing arguments of both the state as well as the defense. The defense was the one that spoke more than the state, essentially saying that first of all, they do believe that the state does not have a case against their clients. But what they are saying further is that today was not about this particular bail application. It was not about proving whether they are guilty or not. It is in fact about proving whether they will be able to stand in trial while on bail. And that's exactly what Mr. Jordan, who is a defense lawyer, said, to say that at the end of the day, we can actually come and put forth the evidence that says that the state does not have a case, because they did not mention sufficiently what links former MEC Mandla Msibi to this particular crime scene, contrary to the statements that is provided. In fact, further on the statements that is provided, they're saying that the state's investigator, the investigating officer who was the state's witness, did not even clarify in terms of whether they dispute the statements that were provided, about 7 of them provided by the defense. They did not dispute them, they did not dispute the content of it, and therefore the evidence of the investigating officer cannot stand to say that because they believe that they are facing serious charges that they must not be let out. So the state saying that the most important thing was for them to prove whether they'll be able to stand trial. But that did not stop Mr. Jordan from actually poking holes at the state's case. Let's take a listen to what he said earlier on in court today about the state not being able to dispute anything that was put forth as evidence by the state, by the defense.
4 witnesses under oath, and of the 2 applicants in that regard, as well as 7 statements. That's all running one thin line against an alleged 2 statements that the state have implicating accused 3 and 5.
All right, so that's the defense attorney for Mr. Msibi. What was the response from the state prosecutor?
It was a very short closing argument from the state, essentially saying that what they believe should happen is the court must actually take over in terms of deciding whether the suspects should get bail or not. They're saying that they've provided sufficient evidence from the investigating officer taking the stand. But more than anything, Sally, they've asked that should the applicants or should the suspects be granted bail, what needs to happen is that they believe that they should be granted bail on a higher bail amount, but also at the same time they're saying that there must be strict bail restrictions because of what the investigating officer said, which was the fact that they fear that this might cause a public outcry from those members of the ANC that are coming from another group that has since been attacked, to say that there are those that are standing before court that have been alleged to have been behind the killing of this faction of the ANC, and therefore that will cause an outrage. So they're saying that there must be strict bail conditions set for them, so that these particular things that the investigating officer has cited in terms of their safety, but also in terms of causing a public outcry that will not necessarily benefit public safety, will take place. So they're saying that they must be given strict bail restrictions. The prosecutor was not clear in terms of what she means by that, but she did cite that the fact that the investigating officer did say that there are safety concerns that they have if they must be let out. Let's take a listen to the prosecutor just speaking to the magistrate in terms of what their plea is, while they're saying that they let this case be in their hands in terms of whether they get bail or not.
I'm satisfied that it's in the interest of justice, as required in terms of section 60 sub 11b, that the appellant be released on bail whilst imposing bail conditions to employ the appropriate checks and balances. Now, Your Worship, in conclusion, I said the following in the heads. It's humbly submitted that there are no likelihood that the applicants will endanger any person or commit any further Schedule 1 offences, that they will abscond, interfere with witnesses or the state's case, will prejudice the functioning of the justice and bail system. It's submitted that they will adhere to all bail conditions, or the appellants will not endanger. There's no likelihood that they will endanger the public order or safety. It is furthermore humbly submitted that the applicant satisfied the onus resting on them, and they proved that they had met the higher benchmark of exceptional circumstances which are in the interest of justice, justifying them to be released on bail, even though the requirement is only circumstances and not exceptional circumstances, and that it's in the interest of justice that they be released on bail. Wherefore, the Honourable Court is humbly requested to allow them on bail, coupled with the necessary conditions.
So that's inside court. Outside court yesterday, there were ANC supporters, I would imagine, for both sides, both for those who were killed and also for Msibi and his two co-accused. What was the atmosphere outside court like today?
In fact, Sally, the only people that are outside are supporters of Mandla Msibi as well as his two co-accused. They have been chanting their names, but what they essentially did today was to come outside court as normal as they would have done throughout the week, and what they did was chant and sing. But when they came out, the leaders that came out that were inside court to be their ear, when they came out to report to them as to what exactly transpired in court, they were not very happy. I can promise you that. Some of them were even telling us on the sidelines that they're not happy that Msibi as well as his two co-accused will be kept in jail for this long. But what they are saying is that they will comply in terms of the request from the leaders, who are saying that they must keep calm, they must let the court apply its mind as it is per the norm, and they then will come back on Tuesday. They're saying that they will be coming back on Tuesday, but this time around they will be expecting to walk away with someone they call a commander, Mr. Msibi, alongside his two co-accused.
All right, well, thank you very much for that update. Coming to us live from Mbombela this evening, our reporter Lindokuhle Xulu.